Well. Fancy meeting you here this morning. I'm kidding. Hey, I am coming to you live from Virginia. I am in Charlottesville. I love this place. Charlottesville's got so much culture. It's such a creative place, such an amazing energy here in Charlottesville, and I get an opportunity to spend an amazing time with amazing superhumans. So coming to you live from Charlottesville this morning, and this week on #RiseAndGrind, we've been doing things a little bit different than we had. We typically have a series that we're doing each week. However, this week we're kind of going a little bit off top, and I think the reason that I chose to do it this way is we are in the middle of this massive evolution. There's this thing called Breakfast with Champions on this app called Clubhouse. I know it's a lot to keep track of, right? Breakfast with Champions, Clubhouse, new apps, all of this stuff. But ultimately what it is, it's an opportunity that was earned when we showed up here with #RiseAndGrind at 5:30 a.m. every single day starting January 6th of 2018, when we created a community that ultimately has made a global impact. When we started raising money and helping families and battling human sex trafficking and showing up for events and connecting with like-hearted people, when we started doing all of these things consistently over time, what ended up happening is God decided that we were serious. He decided that we were serious, and he said, you know what? You guys are pretty serious about this morning thing. You're pretty serious about this impact thing. You're pretty serious about influencing other people to see the greatness that exists inside them. He said, you're pretty serious about becoming the best versions of yourself that you can possibly be, but not doing it for you, ultimately doing it for others. And since you're serious, I'm going to expand the gifts, the talents, and the reach. We're going to expand your opportunity to make an impact in other people's lives. And literally like a gift from the gods, pow, came this crazy thing called Clubhouse. And we expanded and we went from this one-man show that Glenn did for years by himself in a utility closet followed by a studio where he would do interviews on Fridays, to now it is a 70 moderator team effort. I want you to think about that for a second. 70 people coordinated, all put together. They're now running programming from 5 o'clock in the morning until 8 o'clock at night. It's mind-blowing to me. But see, the lesson for me in that is when you put your head down, when you make the decision, when you do whatever it takes. I didn't know the path. I didn't know where Rise and Grind was going. I didn't know the evolution. I didn't know any of that. I just knew that I was going to step out of the boat. I was going to show up every day, no matter what. And when you make those decisions, the ability for God to take that commitment and create something unimaginable. I want you to just think about it for just a second. Just imagine if I came up to you and I said, hey, Mr. Podcaster, hey, Mrs. Podcaster, hey, Mr. I Go Live on IGTV, hey, Mrs. I Go Live on Facebook once a week. In 4 years, you're going to collaborate with 70 other people to create 15 hours of daily programming on an app that doesn't even exist. Yesterday in the afternoon, if you haven't caught any of the afternoon programming yet, yesterday in the afternoon I was driving here to Virginia, and I just spent this moment in awe poor Sarah McCord, she was waiting for me to call her back. We had some strategy things that we had to work on, and I had spent some time on the phone with some other friends of mine and with my wife and some clients of mine and so on and so forth. And I needed just an extra minute before I called Sarah because it all had moved so fast yesterday. And I just sat back in awe. I'm so grateful. And I know this is just the beginning, you know? But it truly was spectacular. And it's going to continue to be. And so today on hashtag Rise and Grind, what I want us to do is spend a little bit of time looking back at some of the pieces that we each have had to go through in order to get where we are. And then I want to spend a little bit of time moving forward, thinking about this opportunity that the decisions we make today and the experiences that we are all experiencing today can potentially create. And then most importantly, I want to spend some time getting super present with the realization of God's plan for you and for me in this season. With that said, let's dive in today's episode of hashtag Rise and Grind.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? See, there's no excuse for you not pushing yourself to the next level. In order for you to create a new you must have a new mindset. When teams come together, we can create things that are greater than the sum of all of their parts. Good morning and welcome to hashtag Rise and Grind. I am your host, Glenn Lundy. I am a husband to one, a father to 8, and the creator of what is going to be the #1 most watched morning show in the world. It is 5:30 a.m. and I hope that you are ready to rise and grind.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How are you, my friend? How are you, my friend? Dude, today is Wednesday. That's right, CMA Day. Carter Myers Automotive Group, most amazing automotive organization in all the world. That's right, Liza, I'm going to say it. All the world. Today is Wednesday, CMA Day, and what's crazy is today is also the very first and the very last time it will ever be Wednesday, August 18th, 2021. So I want to make sure we make the absolute most. And I do mean the absolute most of this absolutely incredible day. Man, I got to tell you, I've spent a lot of time on the road driving over the last few days. I had to drive I was blessed with the opportunity to drive my family back from our vacation last week. That was a 10-hour drive, and then got to turn around and was blessed with the opportunity last night to be able to drive to Virginia, which is normally like a 6.5-hour drive, but I was flying last night. And so I did it in 5.5. But in that driving time, man, I got to tell you, sometimes it's really nice to just slow down. I know this is hard to hear for my high performers, my high Ds, but sometimes when we just slow down and we actually take the time to reflect and to learn and to grow, a lot of amazing things can happen, right? A lot of amazing things can happen. There's a lot of time to reflect in the car. And so this morning when I woke up and I grabbed my hashtag Rise and Grind planner like I do every single day, and I looked at the quote that was on the top, and I thought it was really, really fitting for the situation, which is crazy. For those of you that don't know, we have a Rise and Grind morning planner, and the Rise and Grind morning planner is actually every single day there's a quote that's on the top that is submitted by an actual Rise and Grind member, and those quotes are collected a long time ago. Right? They're collected like 6 months before the journal ever goes into print, or 3 months, something like that. So for this quote to be so aligned here on August 18, 2021 is phenomenal. But what's crazy is it happens all the time. It's really interesting. So I opened the planner and I read the quote today. And here's what the quote says. I'm going to share it with you. When you take some time to look at the world around you, it's pretty cool the things you start seeing. Slow down, take a breath, and open your eyes. That was submitted by Amy Uliberry. And man, I really found it powerful as I broke down each line of it, right? When you take some time, which is an action, it's a choice. When you take some time to look at the world around you, it's pretty cool the things you start seeing. How many things do we not see because we're moving so fast, right? Makes me think, I remember I was driving in I used to have Hellcats back when I was in the car business. I got to drive Hellcats all the time. And you don't drive a Hellcat without trying to figure out how fast you can go in a Hellcat. I'm just telling you, you don't. Now, don't let any of the owners of the dealerships hear me say that, because they don't want to hear that. But I'm just telling you, you don't drive a Hellcat without trying to drive a Hellcat. The thing's got 707 horsepower. It's got the red key and the black key. And so I used to drive these Hellcats. And I remember trying to get this thing up to speed, seeing how fast it could go. And I remember when I hit 147 miles an hour, that this thing called tunnel vision kicks in, where all of a sudden the trees and the guardrails and the other cars that you used to be able to see going beside you, it all becomes one big blur. And you literally just go into a tunnel like, and it's the scariest thing ever. And that is when I hit the brakes as soon as that happened to me. But how often does that happen in you and I's life, where we're moving so fast that we can't see what's going on around us? Slow down, take a breath, and open your eyes. I thought that was a beautiful sentiment. And as I read that this morning, I thought, man, that's the season I'm in for sure right now. And I want you to think about this season for you. I mean, we're moving fast, man. Trying to build this, trying to grow this, trying to invest this, trying to evolve this. We're waking up at 3:20 in the morning. Well, some of y'all are waking up at 3:20 in the morning. We're waking up early. We're doing the 75 hard. We're checking off the 67-day challenge. We're expanding our business. We're trying to take advantage of the opportunity. We're growing, we're researching, we're watching videos, we're making posts on Facebook and Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn. Don't forget all the places. We're writing our books. We're taking lots of notes. We're going to the seminars. We're going to the conferences. Oh, don't forget, we have husbands and wives and children that we're taking care of. Don't forget those things too. And to be honest, we're doing it all in the midst of one of the most interesting seasons in all of our lives. Moving pretty quick, man. Moving pretty quick. And so I'm challenging you today to at least use this little space right here that we have together, this time that we have together, to slow down. Let's really take a look around. And I'm going to invoke the power of some of my friends. I'm going to invoke the power of some mentors, people that I listen to, people that encourage. I'm going to invoke the power of them to help us walk through that, to where we can be present, if not for long, just for a moment. We can be present, and we can really take a look. We can really take a look at how the universe, how God ultimately conspires in our favor. Now, before we go too far, though, you know what we got to do on this show. Y'all are like, Glenn, you're taking us all over the place here. You're bringing us up. You're slowing us down. Now you're making us dance. You're grinding it out. Like, what are we doing here? You're all over the place. And that's good. That's good, because that's the only way I can get your attention, right? Sometimes the hardest thing in the world to grab is someone else's attention. That's what we're here to do today. Hey, for those of you that know, and those of you that don't know, this is the part of the show. Uh-oh. What's going on? Yeah, Liza, I don't think there's anything I can do about it. Yeah, because then you won't be able to hear the music. Can you guys hear the music? Flash those mics. Okay, yeah. I can turn that mic down a little bit. Good morning. Pick one. No! I don't want to pick one. That's awful. That's the most terrible advice I've ever received. All right. All right, there we go. How about that? All right, I can't play the music over in Clubhouse, I'm being told at the moment by my amazing team of superhumans that are always looking out for all of you. So, but on Facebook, that's right, the OGs over on Facebook, y'all get the music. This is the part of the show where I need you to hit that share button. That's right, I need you to hit that share button, because I believe if we can change the way people start their day and make a massive impact on this planet, I truly believe that. And sometimes all it takes to change the way somebody starts their day is for you to hit that share button. All right, so if you're on Clubhouse, hit the plus sign, invite some friends into the room. We're just getting rocking and rolling. If you're on Facebook, share this sucker out. If you're listening to the podcast or you're watching the replay, do me a huge favor and share that as well. And make sure you say good morning to me and connect with me. I would greatly appreciate it. It's all about connection as far as I'm concerned. So I do want to say good morning to Sean Weatherby. What's up, Emily Galler? That's right. How you doing, Kim Fair? How you doing, Michelle Bailey and Melvin Rodriguez? Rodney Hatfield's up in here this morning. Debbie Waba. We've got Jean. Let me back that up. You guys are going really fast this morning. Jean Stafford, Tabitha Walls, Leisha Watts, Tina Bacon, West Storm. We've got Deidre Garland is up in here. Doug Thurston, thanks for the stars, Doug. I really appreciate that. Janice Mullins, John Coltonborn is up in the house. What's up, Carrie Lynn Carter? Great to see you. And West Storm, Brian Renee, Robin Price. Boom, we got some stars from my man Fanzo. All gas, no break. Thanks for the stars, Fanzo. I appreciate you as well. Lauren Scott, Stephanie Windsor is up in here. And over on Clubhouse, even though they won't let me play my music over there, we got Patricia. My man Rev Max is in the house. Love it when Rev Max stops by. We got Tim and Linda. My boy Fanzo's over there. He's in both places. I love that. That's what I'm talking about. Jeff the Entrepreneur. How you doing, Crystal Sicard? I got Scott and Debbie and Farah and Douglas and Trevor and Lana and Pam and Linda and Debbie and Mark and Megan and Sharon and Tide Ash and Shirley and Doctor and Rizwana and Tina and Matt and Suzanne. All kinds of folks. That's what I'm talking about. Let's go. Let's go! Are you kidding me? Hey, for those of you that like hanging out with other people that are like-hearted and spending time in spaces, being energized, motivated, and inspired in real life, I highly suggest you go to growforgod.com, because we're going to be having an event in Lexington, Kentucky, unlike any other, November 5th. 6th and 7th. That's growforgod.com. We are going to celebrate the 1,000th episode of #Rise and Grind, and I want you to be there. So go to growforgod.com right now, grab your tickets, and I'll see you in Lexington, Kentucky. You can meet my wife, you can meet my kids, all of those things, and we can spend time together. You can meet all of my friends, all the people I've interviewed on hashtag Rise and Grind in the past. It's going to be spectacular. So November 5th, 6th, 7th, go to growforgod.com. Now, I told you I was going to invoke the spirit of some of my friends, coaches, and mentors today to help us get super, super present. And that's what I'm going to do right now.
I want to get into the content of the book, Crushing. God turns pressure into power. And I was thinking how last time you were here, you wrote soar.
Yeah.
S-O-A-R. It's like eagles on the cover and plane.
Yeah.
And now we're on crushing.
Yeah.
So what happened?
One is not diabolically opposed to the other. For the eagle, soar is about flying, but for the eaglet, soar is about falling. If the eagle stirs her nest and the eaglets are pushed out of the comfort of their nest, is that not crushing? If their food supply is now cut off and they are pushed out by their own mother to fall off the side of a cliff, is that not crushing? Why would mama do that to me? Why would mama not feed me? And in the process of the eaglet falling, flapping its wings in hysteria, it is the thing that crushed the eaglet that causes it to soar.
Wow.
The whole value of crushing is to explain to people not to be confused when the crushing precedes a soaring. Because a lot of times, if we only tell you about soaring and we don't tell you about crushing, when something crushing happens in your life, it looks like what we preached is not true. Whereas crushing is the process and soaring is the promise. You cannot have promise without process. And we live in a time where people preach more about the promises and less about the process. So what happens is when you come to church and you hear about the promise and you go home and you find yourself in the process, your life is a contradiction to your faith. But you are so loyal to Jesus that you would never admit that you are not seeing the manifestation of what your pastor is talking about in your life. And it looks like that you must be doing something wrong because they are talking about the blessings and the healing and the soaring and the power of God and the strength of God and how all things are yours and all promises are yea and amen and you're the head and not the tail and above and not beneath. And then all of a sudden in the midst of them saying all of those things, you are going home and dealing with marital issues, children who won't obey or comply, a sister who doesn't like you, a father who always preferred the other sister or daughter. And you said, how is my life in such shambles? Never realizing that those that God is going to anoint the most, he always crushes the most severely. When we were talking about the arrows a moment ago, we were talking about striking the ground and we were talking about the bow and arrow. You must realize the further the arrow is going to be shot, the more it must be pulled back. And I wrote crushing in part because I have never met anybody who did exceptional things in their life who had not at some point endured exceptional crushing. It is the force to which you have been pulled back that determines the height that you will fly.
Yeah.
You see?
Yeah.
Some things God takes you through are not for you, but it's so you can reach somebody else. Sometimes he crushes you because he's going to bless you so much he does not want you to get arrogant like your predecessors. And so he humbles you. Anytime he's going to exalt you, he humbles you. You take the 2 fish and the 5 loaves of bread. When they brought it to Jesus to multiply it. And the first thing he did was crush it. He took it and he blessed it and he broke it. As he broke it, he started crushing the fish and the bread. And the more he crushed it, the more it multiplied. The more he crushed it, the more it multiplied. The more he crushed it, the more it multiplied. And all of a sudden you find yourself in a state of multiplication. And somebody comes in and says, look at all of that fish. But you know that when you first came into his hands, you were not enough. It was his crushing that made you more than enough. I never allowed my circumstances to destroy my intensity and my drive and my feeling that God was going to do something in my life. There's a reason that God develops an embryo in obscurity. There's a reason that Moses was hidden in the tent 3 months. There's a reason that Christ dwelt in obscurity till he was 30. Obscurity gives you a chance to have development, to fight your own devils, to overcome your obstacles, to get your priorities in alignment. The problem we have today is that people want a success for which they have not been groomed for. Success that you have not been groomed for is like birthing a baby prematurely. The chances of survival go down the earlier the baby is exposed. And to be exposed too soon is not a blessing, it's a curse. You don't want anything before it's time. Nothing before it's time. There's a time and a season for every purpose under heaven. And so you don't want to get married.
There is a time and a season for every purpose under heaven. Listen, the world is a crazy, crazy place right now. Like, that's just the reality of it. And there are many people, you maybe, that are filled with fear, concern, worry. It's almost impossible not to be. There's a lot of things going on, right? And so what I want to do this morning while I have, how many minutes do I have left? I have 3 minutes left. I want us to do something together real quick. I want us to get present so that we can take a look around and see the beauty that exists in the process of crushing that leads to the promise, right? The things that you are experiencing in your world right now, the things that you're experiencing when nobody's watching, when the lights aren't on, when you're the embryo, right, being curated in seclusion, these things that are happening right now are ultimately for you. But I know sometimes it doesn't feel like that because fear and doubt, anxieties and worries can take that away from us. So I was talking with a friend of mine yesterday, and it reminded me how powerful the Wim Hof methods can be. And it just reminded me how powerful it can be to just take 6 deep breaths and to get really present. You see, we are in a season of crushing right now. Things are condensing right now. And all of us, you, me, people in London, people in Canada, people in Afghanistan, people in Africa, people in China, people in Japan, people in California, people in New York City, all of us are being tried right now. All of humanity. But I truly believe and hang my head on the fact that all things conspire in you and I's favor. All things, not some things, all things. So crushing is the process that ultimately leads to the promise. But as long as we're moving so fast, it can be hard to see that. So what I want to do with you right here to end today's program is we're going to do 6 deep breaths together just to get present so that you and I can experience this in a place of grace, gratitude, and abundance versus a place of fear, concern, lack, and worry. Does that sound fair now? I know I'm a little crazy this morning, but that's me. This is what you get, Glenn Lundy, off top for the week. All right, you ready? Let's go. We're going to do 6 deep breaths. Now, when I say 6 deep breaths, I'm talking deep breaths. All right? Follow my lead. Let's go. Let's do this together. Take those breaths all the way in, so deep, deeper than you've ever breathed in your life before. Literally feel my cells in my body, like my blood being oxygenated. 2 more. Are you with me? While I have you in this space, I just want you to know one thing. I love you. As my brother, as my sister, I absolutely love you. And I'm not the only one. The season that we are traveling through has purpose and intention for you and for me. As we continue to build our disciplines, as we continue to build our foundational, the things that we can control, right? As we continue to build on those foundational things that we can control, ultimately know that you were built, designed, and specifically placed in this season for a reason and a purpose. The things that are going on in the world are not happening to you. They're happening for you. So let's continue to put on our armor every single day and continue to evolve into becoming the absolute best version of ourselves that we can possibly be. You, my friend, are the eagle and ultimately designed to soar. Listen, if you need more videos like this, you can go to glennlundy.com. There's 943 of them out there for you. If you haven't already, make sure you share it out, hit the plus sign, get your tickets to grow your business for God's sake. It's going to be an absolutely amazing experience. And most importantly, come back here again tomorrow morning, 5:30 a.m., and we'll do this all over again on #RiseAndGrind. I love you guys. Take care. Wake up. Stay woke.